Hello my friends, and welcome or welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a soul tribe reading. I felt like doing a soul tribe reading today. That's not how I planned my day. I was planning on doing a pick a card, but you know, things happen for a reason. So I'm a little late. Oh my gosh, it's 1:11. I'm a little late sitting down to do readings today. Usually I like to do readings in the morning, but yeah, I felt called to come on and do a soul tribe reading. I almost got a different deck, and at the last minute I grabbed this one. So I feel like it's symbolic. We have Moonology Messages Oracle. Again, I had another deck in mind, but at the last minute I grabbed this one. So I hope you guys are doing well with soul tribe readings. I'm never quite sure what the soul tribe reading is about until I start channeling. Yesterday I didn't do a reading because I was dealing with some personal things. Not dealing, taking care of. Dealing makes it sound like I was, you know, having a hard time. I was practicing self-care and doing personal things. But I found that I was getting these kind of downloads about things that I wanted to talk to you people about. And one of them was I was talking to my partner about, I was kind of thinking about, I was talking about the area we used to live in the first place that we lived in. And, you know, he made some kind of comment to it, oh, don't bring up that place. That's a memory I don't want to remember. And I said, but why? That's where, you know, that was our start. That's where it all began. Like, was it a crappy neighborhood? Yeah. Did we have problems? Yeah. Were we landlords and we probably shouldn't have been because neither one of us knew how to be a landlord? Yeah. Our very first place, we had all these pets, so we couldn't just get an apartment that allowed all these pets. So we ended up getting a duplex with the help of my partner's parents, because they had invested in a duplex years ago. And they thought, that's great for you guys, you know, you can start off there. And it turned out that now that I'm looking back, I see what it was, but at the time it was challenging. And anyway, it just occurred to me that the difference of how my partner and I see that is, you know, he often makes the joke about cramming things down, and then I tell him that's not healthy. But he said, I've crammed those memories to a deep, dark place that I don't want to think about again. And I said, but why? And I started thinking about it, about how that, and I said to him, that was a stepping stone in our journey to get where we are today. And I started thinking about stepping stones and about how sometimes the only way to move forward is to take that step, and that you can have appreciation for the other stepping stones that led you there. Again, I know this sounds like, what? But I was on my way into town and my partner was driving, and I was kind of like zoned out thinking about this and about how sometimes, again, the only way to move forward is to look back at where you came from and show appreciation for those stepping stones, if that makes any sense. Anyway, I don't know what that gratitude journal has done to me, but that gratitude journal is changing me. And I'm just seeing the lesson in everything. I'm seeing the lessons in everything and appreciating them. And I truly believe that's part of, I feel like when we look back at things in a very negative light with resentment and, you know, beating ourselves up because we should have made better choices and all of that, that's lower vibrational energy. And I feel when you can see the lesson in something, you can heal from it, if that makes sense. Anyway, I just see everything as a lesson now. I like see everything as a sign. I told you guys I was going through something. I could feel it. I felt my faith being tested big time, big time. And I feel like I've made it out. Like, I feel like frickin' Galadriel right now. Anyway, I have passed the test. Anyway, I know I sound bonkers, but again, this is like spiritual evolution here. Anyway, my ego's like, stop it, stop it. but I don't want to stop because this is life-changing shit here, my friends. Like, I can't. Anyway, I'm just so full of energy right now. Anyway, like I said, I was going through something. I talked to you guys about it, and I feel like I'm breaking out of that cocoon now, and I'm evolving. So like I said, when I'm hearing these messages about, I feel like someone needs to hear that message about their past and about how once you've released that hold it has on you, it can heal you. Like, for example, the way that my partner looks at that experience where we first started out was, it was a crappy neighborhood. The neighborhood hated us. It was a weird, anyway, we had tenants that, you know, threatened my partner. Like, one of their teenagers threatened my partner, and then they left and trashed the place. And then we found new tenants that we felt sympathy for, and they trashed the place. And then we fixed it up again, and we found new tenants that, again, we were like, I'm going to go into that part in a minute. They then, it was worse than they trashed the place. They just were like, I'm not going to pay you rent anymore. And I'm not going to, like, I know that landlords suck. I know that there's slumlords. I know all of that. But it boggled my mind in that situation that we had somebody who was trashing our property, refusing to pay rent, standing on our doorstep, front step, almost smugly, saying, I don't have to pay you. I know my rights. I know that, I know that if I don't pay you, I have 30 days before you can do anything about it. Like, it was just, and at the time, I was standing there with like 4 kids behind me, like 2 like twins on my hips, needing that rent to pay our bills. Anyway, looking back, I can see all the lessons. I mean, I talk to you guys about it all the time. How many times does somebody have to walk all over you before you realize that it's you that needs to learn the lesson? And I'm talking to myself there. I spent my entire life saying, do I have naive tattooed on my forehead? Do I have walk all over me tattooed to my forehead? And then I was like mad at the universe. Why do people keep taking advantage of me? Like, because you're letting them, Kelly. Like, seriously. Anyway, so looking back, I don't look at it like that way anymore. I used to look back and look at it with all that resentment and, oh, that's like a memory of my life I don't want to remember. But now I look back with gratitude. Now I look back and I see all the lessons I was supposed to learn. I see that time and time again, I was making the same mistake, if that makes any sense. I truly believe that when we can show gratitude for this, like I said, the stepping stones that we took to get to where we are right now on today's stone, it creates more stepping stones. That's what I believe. Anyway, I'm like, I am cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, my friends, whatever that means. I don't even know what that means. I apologize if I'm insulting anyone with that term, but like I said, this spiritual journey, there are tests where you almost give up. And again, I've seen so many people give up. And this craziness right here, this vibration that's bleh. That's what's on the other side of those tests. And again, it's like this. It's not, this journey is like not like this. It's kind of like up and down, really lows, highs, lows. Anyway, I feel like I'm not making any sense, but that's okay. I really wanted to talk about that because, like I said, I believe that there's untapped potential in showing gratitude for the past. I'm going to say it over and over and over again. And follow your wisps. Follow the signs the universe is giving to you. If you see an angel number, it happened to me this morning. I saw a number and I thought, should I even bother looking that up? I was like, yeah, yeah, I'm going to look it up. And I looked it up and it was completely relevant to what I was thinking about at the time I saw it. Follow the wisps and they get more intense. Truth. What was the other thing I was going to say? Yesterday I was sitting outside and I was listening to all the birds around me, and it occurred to me, I have no idea what any of these birds are. I hear them all the time. So I got some silly little app, not silly, that you can record the sounds of the birds and it will tell you what birds are around. And I realized that I had like 8 or 9 species, different bird species around me in that moment. And then I started looking up what they all meant. And then I started to hear them more. Like it was like the birds started singing more. Again, I know I sound crazy, but when you follow the wisps, when you follow the signs, when you follow the synchronicities, I'm laughing at myself over here. That is how the universe communicates with you. I'm serious. Like, I know I sound to a muggle like I'm absolutely insane. It's the muggles that are crazy. Anyway, I'm going to continue on here. I also had a realization yesterday about cycles. I don't know if you are someone who looks into, you know, the patterns of your parents, the parents that came before them, the family dynamics, the types of things like addictions, opinions that were passed down generation to generation. I'm not sure if you've ever looked into that, but I'm telling you, that's another key to healing, is to look into that type of stuff. And I had like this light bulb moment yesterday when I was talking to my sister, and she was saying, she made some remark about my grandmother. I love you, Grammy. I love you. I feel like my grandmother is with me. That's what I think. Anyway, she made some kind of passing comment about how that's the Grammy way. And I started thinking about, what does that mean? What does that mean? Because she was like very candidly, there was someone who passed away in my family. There was a death in my family, not someone immediately close to me. And there's a service, and my sister is flying in for this service that's happening where I live. And I had no idea about it. I don't know about anything about my family. I'm not privy to that information, so I had no idea there was a memorial service. Anyway, so it was about, we were talking about that. We were talking about, because I'm in no contact with my family, and I said to my sister, you know, how are mom and dad doing? Like, how are they doing? And she made some kind of comment about how the Grammy way. And I started thinking about it, and I realized that at one point, my grandmother, I love you. Anyway, my grandmother's name was Elsie, if that's symbolic to anyone. It's weird because I never talk about her. Hang on. I just needed to take a breath. Like I said, I don't talk about my grandmother, and right now, as I'm saying it, I can feel unhealed wounds that I need to deal with. Like, I really do. I feel them. So thank you, my friends, for bringing that to my awareness in this moment. Like you, I'm talking to you. Whoever's watching this, whoever's listening to me, I'm talking to you. Thank you for bringing that to my attention, that I clearly have unhealed wounds when it comes to my grandmother and her death. But I started thinking about what that meant, the Grammy way. And what happened was that my grandmother wanted more attention from her children. She wanted more attention from her grandchildren. She wanted more support in her life. And now that I'm saying it out loud, it breaks my heart, because she was in like she wasn't in a home, but she was in an apartment building for older aged people. I don't know the terms. And when she asked for more attention and when she asked for more support, I remember it becoming a thing in my family. Like, and then that became the Grammy way. Like, well, Grammy wants you to approach her. Grammy wants everyone to give to her. And that was the narrative that I was told from my parents' perspective. And yesterday when my sister said that, it just, I couldn't shake the feeling. Like, what does that mean? And like I said, I'm describing to you what it meant. And I realized that that's exactly what happened to me with my family, is that I was feeling isolated from them. I was feeling like they weren't around for any kind of meaningful connections. And when I brought it up to them, I became the monster. I became the needy person. My dad messaged me and said, you know, how dare you need something? Like, it was just, and I was, you know, in my late 30s. Like, I was 35 when that happened, I think. I can't remember. But my point is that yesterday I realized that that's what happened with my grandmother, and she was labeled for it in my family, the Grammy way. For what? Needing support? Wanting love? Wanting companionship? Wanting somebody to help her when she needed it? Anyway, I was thinking about this, and I had a realization yesterday that I believe that my family are my karmics. I believe that my family are my karmics. And karmics are, you know, they're meant to teach you life lessons. And I believe that my family are karmic lessons. And so as much as society, you know, you should always love your parents and they're your blood. I can see it for what it is. They're karmic lessons. And I don't know what my point was. I really don't know what my point was. Anyway, this is what happens when you spiritually awaken. You start to have these weird realizations, and you have those, like, you know, the mind blown emoji? Constant mind blown emoji. Anyway, I don't even know why. I don't even remember what my point was. Oh, looking at cycles in your family. This cycle has been staring me in the face for 4 years, and I've been missing it. Again, I talk to you guys, whenever I see a pattern or a cycle, it's like, I've been seeing it for so long. Why didn't I see it? Why didn't I see it sooner? But it's been staring me in my face for 4 years, and I've been trying to figure out what the connection to my grandmother is in all of this, and I think that's it right there. Because my grandmother has been a weird connection in my spiritual journey since it started. She was not alive when, like, she had already passed away when my spiritual journey started. There's like weird, I'm not going to go into it, but there's weird like connections with my grandmother when it comes to my awakening. And I've been trying to, you know how sometimes there's those readings that talk about, you know, you have an ancestor that's with you. I get a lot of that energy. And I've been trying to figure out why my grandmother, and I think that I'm starting to understand. Anyway, there's huge keys of healing by looking into your past. There was something else I wanted to talk about. I was thinking about just, you know, grabbing life by the balls, you know? I know that maybe made somebody spit their coffee out, but I spent like 3 or 4 or 5 months this year, just in a very low vibrational I don't know how to pronounce cyclical. I don't know how to pronounce that, in a cycle. Kind of waiting for things to get better, waiting for me to have the motivation to, exercise, waiting for someone to walk into my life and be a friend, waiting for this, waiting for that. Keep putting it off on the back burner, waiting to start a gratitude journal. I started, you guys know, I started spending a lot of time watching those reality shows that I talk about, which, again, huge lessons in those that I've learned watching human behavior. But all of a sudden, I have no interest in television again. I have no interest. I'm in the energy of what else can I accomplish today? Like, what else? Not in an unhealthy way, but I want to enjoy every moment, I want to enjoy every moment. Anyway, I don't know what the point of any of that was. And I'm not going to apologize. Gosh darn it. I'm working on my confidence there. I watch other people channel quite openly and never apologize and trust that it's going to the people that it needs to go to. And that we have communicate. Very interesting. I still struggle with the confidence. Like, when I start going off on tangents like that, what does it all mean? I struggle with that. Believing that someone's going to resonate with it. But I'm starting to realize that it truly does reach who it's meant to reach. And I know people like to make fun of that. There's a lot of that going on TikTok, like people making fun of tarot readers. If this message is meant for you, it was meant to find you. There are no hashtags. Like, all these videos making fun of tarot readers. Ugh. Not that it's bothering me. Clearly it is. But there's truth to that. It is meant to reach who it's meant to reach. Anyway, let's keep going. We have communicate. So maybe there's something you want to be communicating, Maybe you're tired of being quiet. Maybe you want to rant on like me. Maybe you want to talk about your wisps. Maybe you want to, I don't know, be magical. You do you. Maybe you want to inspire others. Start communicating. Maybe you have a blocked throat chakra. Anyway. I just had a thought, and as quickly as the thought came, it went away. So I guess it wasn't meant for this reading. Whoops. What are you? Do nothing, boundaries. Do nothing and boundaries. Do nothing and boundaries. I always find that the cards that come out are very relevant to the channeling that I'm doing, and that do nothing and boundaries. I was talking about how society will tell you your parents are your blood. Again, opinions are like a-holes and everybody's got one. But that boundaries and do nothing, sometimes that's what has to happen. And that's what I was talking about, karmic lessons. Sometimes you have to put up a boundary and do nothing. There's nothing you can do because those people aren't meant to awaken in this lifetime. And I mentioned to you guys that's the hardest part about being an enlightened person or an awakened person, is that you can see the light. And I know I sound absolutely like, if anybody from 5 years ago could hear me now, they'd be like, who are you? Because I used to be so judgmental and like I didn't believe in anything. But again, some of these people are not meant to see the light that we see. And if you know what I'm talking about, if you know the light and the spark that I'm talking about, anyway. I also, self-regulation. Maybe Spirit's like, you need to regulate yourself, Kelly. Oh, and it's a bull. Taurus. I was just going to mention that a friend of mine, if you have the ability to make a spiritual friend, I really hope you do, because having a spiritual friend is magical. And I am someone who started off with a spiritual friend when I first awakened, and then I haven't had one since. It was like a short spiritual friendship, and I haven't had one since. And I've been I've been manifesting friendship ever since. And I've been, you know, again, I am someone who, 2 years ago when I was manifesting a friend, I honestly didn't know if I could manifest a friend, or if it just seems impossible to me, like the way that the world is. Just where, like, as adults, it's so hard to make a friend, especially if you're someone who is an introvert. But I've recently made a couple of spiritual friends, and like I said, if you're someone who is like focused on love, manifesting love, manifest yourself a spiritual friend, okay? Because that's something else I'm going through right now, a spiritual friendship, and it is enlightening, and it is high vibrational, and you bing off of each other. It's like just zing, 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 zing. It's great. And it just, I don't know, it's made a huge impact in my life. But one of these friends that I made sent me this book. It's a kid's book. And I swear that looks like a wisp. But it's The Magical Yet. And I've already talked for a really long time. Something that I did on my Patreon was I did read. Maybe I'll read this book to you guys in the next reading or something. If you can, start manifesting yourself a spiritual friend. Even if you don't believe it right now, start the motions of doing it. Start the intention. Anyway, again, I'm like high vibing right now. All right. So we have watch for the signs. That's what I was talking about. Follow those wisps. The more that the universe sends you signs, the more you acknowledge them. And you don't just listen. There's a type of sign watching. I did it for a long time in denial. That's like passive communication with spirit, which is where you like notice the signs and you're like, oh, wow, I see that sign. Oh my gosh, I see that sign again. Oh my gosh, I'm seeing that number again. Oh, look, a bird. And you're kind of like passively noticing all the synchronicities. And a lot of people, myself included, feel that, like, oh, that's amazing. The universe is communicating with me. But eventually you need to start. I used to talk about it all the time. It's like a muscle. You need to start to work that muscle. And the more you work that muscle, which means taking note of the repetitive numbers you're seeing, looking up the birds you're seeing or hearing, listen to me over here, crazy bird lady, the more the universe will send to you. And like I said, I heard, as soon as I realized that there were so many different birds around me, all of a sudden I couldn't stop hearing them. It was like their sounds were amplified. Again, I know I sound nuts. I am not nuts. I am onto something. So anyway, following those signs, trusting those signs. I'm feeling called to mention How to Make an American Quilt. If you've never watched that movie, I don't normally say things like this, but if you've never watched that movie, there may be some kind of message in it for you. Because, in that movie, there's a lot of symbology that you'll see, especially if you're into tarot. It's, Winona Ryder is actually following a crow, following a sign. When she sees the crow, she follows the crow. Anyway, you should check it out if you've never watched it. So, I'm going to read this to you. In the situation you're thinking about, your superpower is that you can regulate your emotions. That doesn't mean suppress them, right? It doesn't mean suppress them. It doesn't mean cram them deep down inside. You need to feel them to deal with them. Trust me. Trust this person. That doesn't mean suppress them. It means that you can feel all your feelings and process them and let them move through you. You can just be. This gives you power. Remember, as within, so without. In other words, when you're filled with tumultuous inner emotions, your external... I'm laughing because I was watching another reader this morning who was stumbling over the word tumultuous, and my heart went out to them. I just wanted to hug them. Where was I? Tumultuous inner emotions. Your external life is likely to reflect that. However, pulling this card suggests that no matter what you've been going through, being at peace with your feelings is the key to success. Even if your feelings are intense, breathe through them so that they don't cause outward turbulence. That is your magic. Think of yourself as a sorceress or sorcerer and stay centered now. As I'm reading this, I just want to give you the image that I'm seeing of, like, it wasn't of me, but I can use myself as an example. Imagine a person suppressing all their feelings and emotions, all their traumas. All of that's going on inside. That causes anxiety. Hello, my people who have anxiety, think about it. Think about it. Unhealed. Just think about that inner turmoil, that inner, whatever this word said, tumultuous inner emotions. And your external life is likely to reflect that. And I was seeing the image kind of like a bottle being shaken. And all of that, the more you keep all that in, that sadness, that resentment, anything, like all of that inner emotion that you're feeling, the more you keep it in and you keep that lid on it, the more it explodes outwardly onto other people in the moment. And that was the moment that I knew that I needed to get help, is when it was in 2020. I had just cleaned the house and I felt like a shook up pop bottle. I was on like 3 different medications that I didn't need to be on. One of them for OCD. Sorry, I'm saying that like OCD isn't real. It is real. I just didn't have it. And I was medicated for years. Anyway, inside I was a mess. And I just kept working every day, working. But inside I was a mess. And I was like that shook up pop bottle. And one day I came downstairs after cleaning and my toddlers had made a mess. And my partner had made some kind of mess on the counter. And that lid came flying off into my external world, onto everyone around me. And I remember I kind of like didn't realize what was happening. I was having like a triggered moment because I was holding all of this in for like how many years? Not that I'm making excuses. And in that moment, I was like, I can get messy too. And I dumped out the toys that I had been cleaning. I dumped them all out onto the floor. And I looked at my kids and I saw them tearing up. And in that moment, I was like, I am my father. In this moment, I am my father. And I knew something is wrong inside of me and I need help. Reached out to a therapist and I've never looked back, and I've never been a better parent. So holding that stuff in is poisonous. I'm just saying. See what happens when I don't talk to you for a day? For best results, remember, don't leave that inside of you. Don't leave it inside of you. Get it out. Even if you have to turtle on your bathroom floor and just cry. For best results, bring compassion, empathy, and unconditional love to your current situation. You have all that you need to sort this situation out. In fact, you may even have the upper hand. However, you need to use that advantage wisely. You may need to take the emotional lead. Be a good example for others. It's really interesting. This is like one long freaking message here, but I just wanted to bring up something else really quick, is that when you start to be enlightened and raise your vibrations, the people around you are going to, not consciously, they're going to try and hold on to you. They're going to feel energetically you rising, and they want to hang on to that. And what I mean by that is, if you are someone who starts communicating, I'm going to improve my life. I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to start doing that. And you start to change your life out of that frequency that you've been in with that person. Again, they're going to subconsciously, they're going to try and hold you down in that lower vibration. So they may, they may say things about your journey. They may make comments to try and put that energy of ego, that energy of fear into you, that energy of self-doubt. Just keep that in mind. Again, I'm only here to... What I'm here doing is trying to help others navigate ascension, essentially, because I'm telling you, once you start to awaken and you realize all of the programmed thoughts that are in your head, it's mind-boggling to me. Like, I can hear them even now as I'm trying to talk to you about friendships, and about how, not consciously, but subconsciously, you'll start to outgrow people, and they'll start to try and hang on to you by bringing you down, by possibly, maybe there's an argument that the two of you have. Maybe they make some kind of passing comment or triggering comment, or they pass judgment on your journey, your beliefs. Again, as I'm saying this, I can hear people, I can hear all the programmed thinking coming through, but that's an actual thing that happens energetically, if that makes sense. Should a real, this is what I mean by programmed thinking. A real friend would support you. A real friend wouldn't judge you for liking spirituality. A real friend wouldn't do this. And I can hear the people who tell me that my view on friendship is toxic when it comes to spirituality. I've heard it. But I'm talking from real experience, where I've spiritually outgrown people. And I've learned from people who have spiritually outgrown people. And yes, a real friend should support you. But that whole thing, a real friend should do this. That's programmed thinking. Maybe that person is a real friend, but your soul contract is over and you're meant to go your separate ways because you're not aligning anymore. Doesn't mean they weren't a real friend. Anyway. Guys, I'm really fighting the need to apologize. Again, I listen to readers who channel like this with no cards, and they never apologize. So we have patience here. So being patient about your manifestations coming to you, being patient with yourself on this spiritual journey. Perhaps there's something you're trying to manifest in and it's not coming in the size and wrapping paper that you thought it would or that you were expecting. I think it's interesting that I was talking about how I've been trying to manifest friendship in my life for years. And I'm not saying that to deter you. I'm saying that to inspire you to start those intentions now. And if you are someone, like me, I was trying to manifest this stuff into my life, and I was wondering, why isn't it showing up on my doorstep like an Amazon package? Like, what's going on here? you actually have to work with the universe for those things to happen. And for me, that looked like self-growth. You know, while I was manifesting friendship, I was working on self-growth. I was working on healing. I was working on doing this. Anyway. I also sometimes get the energy of like flipping off the universe when when, you know, that divine timing type of energy, you have to be patient. I struggle with patience. That's been, they say the spiritual journey is supposed to teach you patience, you know? It's really interesting because I even see that difference in my life. You know, we live in a society where everything we can get instantly. You know, it's at our fingertips. We can hit buy now. It's to us within a few days. You know, a few years ago when I would buy something, I would want it instantly. I would want it instantly. Give it to me now. Like Veruca and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Yesterday, I purchased something. If you guys want to know, it was a love seat. And they said, it'll be 3 to 4 weeks. And old me would have been like, what? I want to take it home now. What are you talking about 3 to 4 weeks? Why does it take so long? I heard 3 to 4 weeks and I'm like, okay. Like, and it was okay. Anyway, sometimes I wish the universe could give us like an estimated time of delivery. Imagine how that would make you feel. Like if they just said estimated time of arrival of your best friend or whatever is 6 to 9 months. And it's like, okay, thank you, Spirit. I'll keep myself busy to 6 to 9 months. At least I know I have something to look forward to. That's what I mean. Imagine if that was a thing. That would be amazing. Oh my goodness. I'm laughing at myself right now. Ah, there it is, finally. Patience, be persistent, this too shall pass. Just like the moon, we all go through phases. Slow down, there is a natural cycle that needs to unfold. And you know, when I first started awakening, I was like somebody that wanted everything now. Like I just told you that. But even like spiritually, I just wanted everything to happen quickly, you know? And I see it in my comment section. Yes, communication is coming, but when? When is it coming? You know? It's really meant to teach you patience. And you know, I talk about it all the time when we're this spiritual journey. There's so many hidden forces at work on this spiritual journey, especially if you resonate with counterparts. It's not about rushing through the lessons. It's not about rushing into union. There are things that need to happen. There are things that need to unfold. There's major realizations that need to happen that can be delayed. You know, I'm telling you, I delayed healing in my life. I delayed it. I had a chance to break a cycle and I delayed it by months. I delayed it. And now I'm just learning that lesson now. And again, I could have learned it back then, but I was too impatient. If I had just been more patient, I would have learned that lesson back then. But I'm not looking back there for regret. I'm looking back there as lessons. Next time I will see the lesson, or I'll have my glasses on. This card urges you to trust in divine timing. In ancient times, women and men were more attuned to the fact that life goes in cycles, just like the moon. We know this because the first recorded lunar calendars date back at least as far as the Stone Age. It served these women and men to know which moon phase they were in, just as it serves you now to know which life phase you're in. As you go through whatever you're going through right now, as you experience whatever has prompted you to ask this question, as you impatiently await the next developments, remember that life goes in cycles, and just as you can't hurry up the moon, you can't speed up the process you need to go through now. You need to feel all of your feelings and learn all of your soul lessons. Yes. As you go through whatever you're encountering, patience is called for, but you'll more than likely get to where you want to go. It's not an easy wait, but sometimes instant gratification leads only to short-term gains. Truth! Oh my gosh, truth. Short-term, what is it? Instant gratification leads to only short-term gains. Such a lesson there. Seriously. Think about that. The next time you're thinking that you want something instantly when it comes to spirituality or, you know, think about that. Do you want it right now? When it's not cooked and it's raw? Think of that cake that I always talk about with the fork. Do you want that uncooked cake that's going to give you a tummy ache and make you be afraid of cake? Do you know what happens to my kids anytime they are full and they eat dessert? I think it's funny. Anytime they're full and they eat dessert, they associate feeling sick with that dessert. And then they're like, I don't ever want that dessert again. So that's what I mean. Like, do you want the cake now that's uncooked and is going to taste like baking soda and have raw egg in it and give you a tummy ache and make you never want to eat cake again? Or do you want to let the cake cook and enjoy it? Oh my gosh, I'm just laughing at myself. Sorry. Be persistent. 7 of Wands energy, persistence. So have patience. This too shall pass. You know what? Driving into town yesterday, I make it sound like I live out in the sticks. I do not. But driving into the city, you know you're spiritually awakened when you're driving past churches and the quotes that they used to post outside that you used to make fun of are really hitting home, you know? Seriously. Synchronicities. Watch for the sign. Watch for the synchronicities. Truth. This is what is happening in this card? Am I just an alien right now, or does that not make sense? The 3 is after, the hand is after the 3, but before the 12. So like, that doesn't make sense to me, because after the 3 would mean it would be 3. But if the hand was so close to 12, wouldn't it be closer to this? Or before 3? Do you get my drift? And right now, I know this sounds insane, I'm hearing timeline jump, and I know that sounds weird to some people. I'm hearing timeline shift because that is strange. I'm not going to go into timelines right now because I'm still learning about them. I don't know enough about them to talk about them, but a lot of people report shifting timelines. I have talked about it before. It was really strange because there are times, there was a recent time where I felt like I went through some type of time warp or whatever. Timeline jump is what I'm hearing. Timeline, change in timelines. And that's what I was talking about with the lower vibrational and higher vibrational energy between you and other people, is that if you're meant to be on another timeline, if you're meant to be on your highest timeline, and they're part of your lowest timeline, they could be holding you back from hitting that higher timeline, if that makes sense. And sometimes you're not meant to walk on the same timeline. Anyway, I've said timeline way too many times. It doesn't make sense to me anymore. We do have a 3 here for whatever that means to you, because that is the hour hand. And we have 54, 354 could be symbolic. Look it up. 354, look it up right now. Go look it up. What does it mean? 354. I am awaiting your answer in my comment section. Change your tune. Oh my gosh, I have to take that card. I have to take this card because it truly is about changing your tune. It's about changing your outlook. I'm telling you that gratitude journal has changed my outlook. It's changed me in like such a short time. Right before I started this reading, I was having a conversation with my kid about motivation because they were saying, I don't feel motivated to do anything. And I said, well, are you waiting for motivation to come to you? I said, like, are you sitting there waiting for it? Like I said to you, like an Amazon package. Are you waiting for motivation to come to you? Sometimes we need to get up and find that motivation. I'm not talking about masking or hiding depression or anything like that or that type of mentality. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about changing your tune. Negativity is like a snowball, okay? Negativity, low vibration, fear manifests. And by changing your tune, changing your outlook, changing your approach, having the courage to change your approach, it causes massive change. Think of that Two of Wands. Two of Wands is about changing your approach. That's what I'm seeing here. Change your tune. She's in between these two, whatever they are, trombone, tubas, whatever, tubas. Oh my gosh. Trombones, tubas, whatever they are. Two of Wands, changing your approach, changing your direction, changing the way you look at things, trying to see the gratitude in everything, looking at the lessons in the past. Where's that book? I don't really know how many more cards I'm going to get. I've been talking a lot here. Look at your question from a new perspective. Don't be afraid to admit if you are wrong. Allow someone else to take the lead. Focus on the good things in life. Oh, by the way, I will read that card. You may need to change your tune. Have you been harping on and on about the same old thing? Is it time for you to change things up? Stop and hear the music of the spheres, the planets. Could it be that you need to change your mind, have a change of heart, update your opinion? Is it time to choose love over fear? It's so easy to get stuck in a particular way of communicating. Maybe the person you need to get through to now will respond in a way that's more to your liking if you sing a different song. Two of Wands, changing your approach. In other words, try a new tactic. Have you been obsessing? If so, stop. And remember, as Dr. Wayne Dyer taught, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And that's exactly what I meant with the gratitude journal. When you start looking at your life with gratitude, your life starts to feel pretty frickin' full. Think about it. I'm talking about showing gratitude for the smallest things. Yesterday, like I wrote in my gratitude journal that I was so grateful because I had a moment I went out for lunch with my kids and my younger set of twins, the two younger ones, were sitting on either side of me. And all of a sudden they wanted to kiss my cheeks. And I took a picture of that moment in my head, not with my cell phone. And I remembered to write about it when I went to sleep. And I'm telling you, when you show gratitude for little things like that, you start to see them everywhere. You start to see just how full your life is. Make sure you're not being stubborn. Holding your ground sounds good, but there's nothing wrong with admitting when a new tactic is called for. And one may well be called for now. Anyway. Synchronicity, divine timing is unfolding. Events now have a purpose. So anything that's happening now, even like I'm going to use that for my own self too. Everything that came out of my mouth in this reading, everything that came out of my mouth in this reading was for a reason. You're in the right place at the right time. Everything happens for a reason. Something is flowing in the right direction for you when this card comes up. Everything is either already falling into place or will do very soon. Even if you fervently believe that you create your own reality, there are times when events have an almost destined feel, and this is one of those times. You could perhaps attribute, is that how you say that word? It to life unfolding and revealing the lessons our souls need to learn in this lifetime. There is synchronicity at work. You're exactly where you're meant to be, learning the lessons you need to learn. And I'm telling you, my friends, I'm telling you, there's a reason for everything. There is a reason for everything. Everything is lining up as it needs to. So trust the process as much as you can and stay optimistic for your desired outcome. Whatever the situation you're asking about, know that it's not a random development in your life, but a step along your path and meant to teach you. The steps, the path, stepping stones. The sooner you pay attention to the lessons, the sooner you'll be able to navigate your way to where you want to go. And you know what? Sometimes you need to decide what you want and go after it in order to have it in your life, you know? You're the only one stopping you, you know? I was sitting around thinking about, oh, I wish I was more active. I wish I had the willpower to work out. I wish that, I wish that I wasn't I wish I was more comfortable in my body. I wish this, I wish that. And it was like, Kelly, get up off your butt and do something, Anyway. Which is what my intentions are to do. This morning I got up off my butt and I did Pilates. I've never done Pilates before, so it was very interesting. I was feeling muscles that I've never felt before. But you know what? Look at the mood I'm in, I got up early. I did that. I went for a bike ride with my kids because anytime I experience any moment like that and I write it down with gratitude, I want to do it again. And look at the vibration I'm in now. Anyway. All right. So I actually want to get you a few tarot cards here. I'm going to get from Spirit Song, which is a bit of a different deck. I'm not sure if I'll take reversals or not. We'll see. But I just kind of want to see what's coming out. What you need to hear. What do you need to be aware of? What do you need to be aware of? I also was thinking that I might... You people are always asking me to tell you what my favorite decks are. So I thought I might do a video showing you some decks soon. I don't know when. Soon. And see, this is the thing. I intend to do it. And I'm sitting here saying, I intend to do it. I intend to show you my decks. I intend to do that video. But the truth is, it will happen when I make it happen. I'm the only one who can make it happen, if that makes sense. I'm talking about like intentions and things. Those intentions have to turn into action. Anyway, did I cut that deck? I can't even remember. We have the King of Crystals on the bottom. King of Crystals in this deck is Pentacles. So we do have a King of Pentacles energy here. Maybe you're being very patient about something. King of Pentacles. I feel like whatever you're being patient for is meant to bring you stability. It's really interesting because look at this. We have Knight of Feathers, which is Knight of Swords, action and focus, and we have King of Crystals. And this is that energy that card was talking about. Do you want instant gratification right now? Do you want to rush in? Or do you want to take your time and have long-term success or long-term stability? Interesting. So what do you... we have death coming out right away. So we have transition, death. And I think that's really interesting energy. We also have the Two of Swords here in reverse. And it feels like the end of stagnation for something. It feels you know, I can't help but see that message that I was just talking about in here, that perhaps you're stagnant because you need to spread your wings. Perhaps you're stagnant because you need to move through the transition into the rebirth, you know? Perhaps you've had that awareness. Perhaps you've learned that lesson. Perhaps you know what you want to do, but you're in that transitional stage like the butterfly where it wants to hold on to its older self. It wants to hold on to its cocoon because it has a fear of spreading its wings and flying. And I feel like that's very symbolic here, coming out of stagnant energy, learning how to open your wings, learning how to trust in the rebirth, you know? Doorbell, that could be symbolic. Let's get another card. I gotta take it. It came out. 7 of shells. What do you want? You need to make that choice. What is it that you want? You know, you could be someone. Hang on. I just can't. Like, the signs and synchronicities that are happening right now are just insane. Just now the doorbell rang and somebody brought something to the door. And she was saying to my partner, your bushes are overgrowing. We have these, like, I am not a gardener. And when we bought this house, there was like really easy maintenance plants out front. Easy maintenance plant, whatever. Anyway. And you know, trimming those in the fall was something I put off doing. I put off doing. And then what happens every spring when they start to grow? I don't learn my lesson. So I chop them, knowing full well that they're going to explode at that point when you trim them in the spring. They just, you know, they start growing like crazy. You're supposed to, if you want to stop the growth, you're supposed to do it in the fall. Anyway, she came up to the door and she was like, your plants are completely overgrowing your path. And my partner has kept saying this to me, you know? And I said, I missed trimming them. And I said, and I refuse to make the same mistake again. I am waiting until the fall to trim them. If I had trimmed them, they would have been more overgrown. You wouldn't even be able to see that path. And that's what I mean about that instant gratification. That Knight of Swords, that King of Pentacles energy. Sure, I could go cut it right now for instant gratification for anyone walking down the path, myself included. I don't enjoy walking down that path. I get scrapes on my legs. Or I could wait until the fall and have patience and then solve the problem, you know? Fix it this year, not make the same mistake again, trim them properly, you know? Anyway, I just thought that was a weird synchronicity. So the 7 of Cups, very symbolic of figuring out what you want. You know, we see this lobster, all these shells. I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. You need to put focus into that thing that you want. You know, you have to figure out what it is that you want so the universe can give it to you. I keep hearing that. All right. We also have the 10 of Crystals. Like I said, I'm not acorn. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out what acorns are. Acorns are wands in this deck. I remember when I first got this deck, I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Shouldn't acorns be pentacles? Anyway, we have the 10 of Crystals, 10 of Pentacles in reverse. So it's like, figure out what you want so the universe can bring it to you. 7 of Cups, figure out what you want so that you can have this long-term stability and abundance. And by focusing and harnessing and getting clear on what you want, that's how it comes to you. That's how it manifests. You can't have long-term stability if you're looking at all these others, like keeping your options open, you know, like, anyway. So let's get, the way these cards are behaving are very interesting. Because I said, I don't know if I'll take reversals. And it's like the universe keeps spitting them out in reverse. We do have synergy and gratitude, Six of Crystals. So one thing I want to mention here, Six of Crystals, that's Six of Pentacles, is about, it's about equal give and take. It's being able to experience love and give love. It's like reciprocity. And, you know, Six of Crystals, Six of Pentacles is when you hit that moment where you've done the healing in order to help others. And I just want to mention, like, I keep just the intensity of the spiritual messages that are coming through in this reading. This is like the first time I've ever experienced this intense of a channeled message before, if that makes sense. Like, it's really intense. And with the Six of Pentacles, it could be that you're meant to help others. It could be that you're meant to help others grow and evolve. You could be someone who's, you know, meant to be a light worker. The other thing I'm seeing with the Six of Pentacles is that maybe more stability and balance is needed in your life before these manifestations can come in. Maybe you're manifesting someone else that needs to work on themselves more before coming back in. What was the other thing I was going to say about that? You know what I'm going to do? Well, we have Page of Pentacles here, so it's almost like self-growth needed when it comes to giving and receiving love. Maybe you're someone who is amazing at giving love but not receiving. Maybe you're someone who's great at receiving love but not giving it. I'm feeling called to look at this book. Six of Crystals. Remain in your own truth and be aware of anyone who may take advantage of your generosity. How interesting, as I was ranting on about how people would walk all over me and take advantage of my generosity. Maybe you're someone who struggles with that. Maybe you're someone who overextends yourself or overgives to others. Maybe, you know, you're meant to be focusing on yourself here. We do have the Page of Crystals, and I'm seeing, you know, we see ideas and discipline. So perhaps you perhaps like me, you're at the point where you're supposed to be putting discipline towards some of these ideas that you have, setting intentions, you know, acting with intention, living with intention. Again, if I could hear myself 5 years ago, I'd be like, who is that crazy person? Having the strength and discipline to put that energy into yourself, self-growth, planting those pentacles, Page of Pentacles, you know? Having the courage to plant that pentacle and see what it grows into. And we also have the High Priestess here, so you could be on your way to being a light worker, I'm just saying. All right, let's just get a few more, and then there's actually something that I want to get for you. We have the Knight of Shells, following your intuition. Knight of Cups, following your intuition. The Knight of Cups follows their heart no matter what. No matter what their logical brain is saying, they follow their heart's desire. They follow their heart. Doesn't matter what other people say. The Knight of Cups always follows their intuition, so following your passion. We also have Queen of Feathers here, Queen of Swords, speaking your truth, you know? And I'm hearing this very strong message with the Knight of Shells and the Queen of Feathers that whatever your heart is telling you is your truth. Your truth is not what you think you should be doing or what you think that you think you should be behaving a certain way, or you know what? Your truth comes from your soul. It's really interesting because I talk about the Queen of Swords and about how When the Queen of Swords comes out in me, it's like a big sister coming out in me. It's like a protector. And when the Queen of Swords comes out and speaks their truth, I'm not talking about like distorted Queen of Swords. I'm talking about when your higher self shows up for you and stands up for yourself in that moment and you speak your truth. The Queen of Swords is following her intuition. I'm not talking about gender. The Queen of Swords is following the truth connected to her higher self. So I always trust when the Queen of Swords comes out in me, it's like my higher self has said to whatever the situation, enough is enough. You stand up for yourself now. Like, stop letting people push you around. So having the courage to follow your heart, having the courage to speak your truth, no matter what anybody thinks, no matter what your friends think, no matter what whoever thinks. And we have justice on the bottom, truth and clarity. Anyway, just beautiful. I'm actually going to take this. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. The Lovers. I'm just going to look at this Justice card because perhaps you're someone who needs to embody your true authentic self. Perhaps you're someone who needs to share your voice in order for you to attract someone who's vibrationally aligned for you, whether that be a friend, whether that be someone you end up working with, whether that end up being a lover. We do have the Lovers here, but that can also be, you know, friendship. It can be love at work, I'm hearing. Anyway, what was I going to say? I was getting a message that I just wanted to tell you. When I was talking about spreading your wings and flying, look at what we have here. We have this bat releasing Hanged Man energy, releasing, surrendering, and letting go and flying, rebirth. Anyway. What was I looking up? I was looking up justice. So it feels to me like maybe you're attracting in some kind of connection here after finding your truth, finding your clarity and justice. It's on 20, which is judgment energy. Truth, clarity, balanced thought, self-examination, adjustment, cause and effect, responsibility. At the portal of the shadow and the light, the seen and the unseen, crows hold the gift of ancient wisdom and sacred law. Their sharp perception, by the way, Queen of Swords, crow in Light Seers Tarot, crows on those pages. Her sharp perception illuminates the core of truth. I swear, it sounds like I'm reading the Queen of Swords card. I am not. I'm reading justice. She is able to discern what is fair, and she stands on guard to ensure that such fairness is fulfilled. As a bringer of clarity, Crow will assist you towards spiritual self-awareness. In standing by your personal integrity, you will awaken your authentic self, Queen of Swords. Balance is a continuous process on the road of adjustment. Weigh decisions carefully so as to bring everything back into balance. You are the orchestrator of your own life. Consider the results of all actions taken, as your actions and thoughts shape your future. And again, if you're not taking action towards anything, nothing can come into fruition, if that makes sense. I'm also just going to read the Lovers card because it's here. It's on 14, which is Temperance. So perhaps, you know, and King of Pentacles. So being patient about this connection, whatever this is. You know, I was talking about a friend during this reading. So maybe for you it's a friend, maybe it's a lover, maybe it's a counterpart. But having the patience. I think it's really interesting how this wolf's head is up and this wolf's head is down, you know? So it could be that you're connected to like a counterpart who is on a different part of their journey, I'm hearing. But we have your patience pays off in the end, you know? We have King of Pentacles, love, and justice here. So your patience pays off. The fiercely loyal wolf walks through life with confidence and endurance. He brings faith and intuition to all forms of love. Communicative and affectionate, wolves trust in the power of love and in the bonds of companionship. His primal howl is an expression of living life with passion and the desire for connection. He finds strength in unity while also maintaining his independence. Wolf lends his discipline and harmony in relationship building and decision making. He urges you to sing the song of your heart's essence. Tune into your inner voice for guidance. Through this, you will access the wisdom needed in making the best choices. Choice, trust, commitment, devotion, passion, companionship, harmony, divine connection. Interesting. So I wanted to get, I was seeing, I'm going to get you one of these animal apothecary cards again. Look, you guys. Look, that is beautiful. I saw a butterfly this morning. And if I hadn't gone for a bike ride, I wouldn't have seen the butterfly. And if I hadn't have worked out, I might not have went for that bike ride. And then I definitely wouldn't have seen the butterfly. And I'd also be doing probably a different type of reading right now. So this reading wouldn't even exist. Anyway. I call this being down the rabbit hole. It's fun down here. Are you kidding me? What just happened? What is happening? I am like, I don't think you can see my goosebumps, but oh my gosh. The entire reason that I got this deck is because I was seeing this card in my head, in my mind's eye, whatever you want to call it. I was seeing this card in my head. The minute I started talking about timeline jumping, I started seeing this card and I was like, I need to get that deck for them. And as I was pulling it out, I was going to say, we'll just see what comes out. And I was going to talk to you about this card. That's too much. No, it's not. It's not. It's not, Spirit. Keep it coming. I used to say stop it a lot. And then I realized, what if Spirit thinks I mean stop for real? So I stopped saying stop. And I said, yes, please more. Give me more. I can't believe that just happened. I can. I do. This is a weird reading. Where is that book? There it is. Panic. I always panic. Where's the book? As if it's like gone forever. It's always there. I can't believe this card came out when I was talking about timeline jumping. It's the whole reason I got out this deck. Again, I was going to get you a card and then I was going to read you this card. I can't believe that. In physics, it is understood that a quantum particle breaks down to the smallest particles that create the fabric of reality. A quantum particle is every version of itself at once. Yet when the particle is observed, it becomes a version of itself that is reacting to the observer's consciousness. This also applies to humans. In layman's term, we are every version of ourselves, but our consciousness dictates what version of ourselves we choose to be. Grasshopper's medicine jumps into your cards today and asks you to quantum jump into the highest version of yourself. Your highest fucking timeline! I just can't. That was magic. Again, why would I ever want to drink again? Like, when I can do this. That's just magic. Where was I? You do this by assuming the identity and emotion of the self you want to be, changing your tune. It is in you to be the most fantastic version of you. You just need to jump into it. Stand up straight, fix your posture, wake up early to pray, meditate, and move. Oh my gosh! Eat foods that the most amazing version of yourself would eat. Dress, dress the way the highest version of yourself dresses. Work like the version of you that you respect. Treat people the way the highest version of you treats people. Take action towards goals in the same way that the version of you who is making big wins would take. Start loving yourself the way the version of you who is in love with themselves would treat themselves. This is insane. If you were in my brain right now, I just ordered myself a bracelet from me. And I said to my friend, I said, I'm going to start being the partner that I want to myself. Like, why can't I treat myself to a piece of jewelry? I don't do that. So I bought a really pretty bracelet, which I'll wear for you guys. It's just so weird. This card says that you can no longer identify being a victim to circumstance. You are powerful and you create your own reality. Grasshopper's medicine asks you to choose to be the version of yourself that feels the most fulfilling right now. What you've been chasing this entire time is within you. Jump into the you that actualizes their potential. Yes! And you know what? As I was reading this, I had this download about a moment that I had with my mom that I have to tell you guys about. When I was like 16, 17, my mom and dad separated, and she took me across the country to where her family lived, where she always wanted to live, and she would always say, oh, I wish I lived there. Did she ever do anything about it? No. Will she? Probably not. But anyway, when we were there, I saw a different version of my mother. She was happier, she was high vibrational, she was laughing, and guess what? I was not. I was depressed. I had dropped out of school. I was unhappy. And I can remember her telling me, you make the choice whether you're happy or not, Kelly. She's like, it's within your power. You can change your attitude. And at the time, because I was in a low vibrational energy and I was in victim mentality, I was so mad at her for saying that. And I don't think that you can make yourself feel a certain type of way by snapping your fingers. But through this spiritual journey, I've learned that if you change your tune, you have the potential to live your highest timeline. And again, it's interesting that when my mom was vibrating at a higher frequency, she used to say some of this stuff to me. It was only a year. I only saw that version of my mom for a year. She hit a test, and that was it. But I can remember her saying things like that to me. And at the time, because I was depressed, I was like, I don't want to hear it. That's a bunch of bullshit. Like, what are you doing telling me that? Don't tell me to be happy. Like, anyway. I'm going to leave it there. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm not going to leave it there. I have a deck. I have another deck to get you. I got this deck. It's postcards from Spirit, and I just want to get one. That's all I want to get. I just want to get one. You're only supposed to get like a few. It says 1, 2 if you're really called. I did a reading on Patreon where I did get 2 cards, maybe 3, because I felt called to. Today I'm going to say 1 and we'll see what happens. We'll see what Spirit says after I complete shuffling. Anyway, this is meant to be messages from your higher self or someone who's passed on, an ancestor, your guides, God, whatever it is that you believe in. So what is the message you need to hear today? Why is there so many? I'm going to take the top one. I think that's only fair. Dear you, what is true for you? Oh my God, stop! Just Queen of Swords. What is true for you? Can you be impeccable with your word? Sure you can. As long as it's not used to manipulate others, the truth can set everyone free. I cannot even believe this. Let go of the results, let go of your fears, and allow the truth to empower you and others. This will set into motion a kind of change that will be supportive of you and loving and all kinds of prosperous. King of Pentacles! Sorry, I'm not meaning to yell at you. This is not the time to compromise and hide your truth from others. Whatever it is you want, go for it and be clear in your motives. Oh my gosh, it's just... Be clear in your motives, especially with yourself. Do you hear Wally? It's okay, Wally. You will be so happy you did. This is a time where you will tap into the power to co-create and manifest your best life. Doesn't that feel amazing? And the results miraculous. When you tell the truth and ask the same of others, you can learn a lot from life's bountiful lessons and achieve your dreams. Love you always. I love it. It's like making me tear up. It's beautiful. Anyway, I'm going to post this. Screw my ego. I'm going to post this really long channeled message. And I'm going to leave it here, my friends. Thank you for sitting with me, whoever's still here. Thank you for being a part of my spiritual existence. Your energy in my life is... I show gratitude for you guys in my journal every night, just so you know. So if you're ever having a day where you feel like you don't make a difference in somebody's life, you make a difference in mine. So I'm going to go now before I cry. I'm already crying. I love you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.